Hello, welcome. We are gonna go live with the great Daniel Stein with Special Strong. So we just want to welcome you guys on. We're gonna have a lunch and latte, not a lunch and latte, a lunch and learn, a latte and learn, depending on where you guys are. We want to tell you about this amazing entity that has come across our path, and we're so excited that Daniel and his team work with individuals with disabilities that are helping kiddos during school and after school. So we are going to see if we can get this party started with Daniel. Let's see if I can find him. I invited him. Let's see how that works.
Oh my gosh, I don't believe this, Karen.
This is amazing.
I agree. This is it took some effort to get here, didn't it?
It did. You know what? If it didn't take some effort to get here, would it have been worth it?
Yeah, you know what the problem is, I wasn't wearing my shirt last time when I was trying to get on TikTok, so I think it just kicked me out. But here I am. I've got my cutoff on, so we're gonna be okay.
I was so worried you would run out.
I know you've been thinking about it, Karen, and I do have a shirt for you when you're ready. We talked about that, so.
I think I don't want a shirt, but I think maybe just a cutoff blazer.
Well, I'll see what I can do for you. Here, I'm gonna actually do this here. Watch this. Watch. Oh, just brought it down a little bit there.
Wow, I like that.
We're serious now.
Very serious. So, Daniel, I was just sharing with people about what you do and helping our kiddos. So you want to give us the 1 minute elevator pitch of who Daniel Stein is and what Special Strong is.
1 minute elevator pitch. So I started Special Strong in 2016, grew up with a learning disability. Fitness completely changed my life, and I felt called to help other people that had mental, physical, cognitive challenges just live a more abundant life, an overcoming life, using adaptive fitness as a resource. So we're a franchise. We have a certification program. We're in 5 states. We reach globally. We reach 5 to 10 million people a month, and we just have a big passion to help people, especially people with adaptive needs.
That is awesome. So I've been stalking your pages, so you should follow Special Strong on all the platforms. And there's a young man that you're helping, and he was walking for the first time unassisted. Tell us about that, if you can, without disclosing, anything private or whatever. Tell us about that win.
Yeah, it's neat. I don't have to follow HIPAA laws, so I can say whatever I want. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you all about him. I'm going to give you his social security number, his address, his birthday. His name is Brandon Neal. When he started seeing me, he was around 18. He hadn't walked in over 8 years. He was stuck in a wheelchair. His parents had seen many physical therapists, and they just saw a Facebook ad for Special Strong, and they thought, I wonder if this could help my son Brandon. So they came in. I was selected as the trainer, and it was a really neat journey. Brandon had a lot of anxiety being in the gym, and he was really concerned. He was depressed. He would tell me that girls at school didn't like him because he couldn't walk. He would get made fun of for being in a wheelchair. So I told Brandon from the very beginning, I said, Brandon, we're going to see a miracle. And I said, Brandon, one day you're going to walk again. One day you will. So 3 months later, we came into the gym, and I said, Brandon, today is the day, and you're going to walk. And so I took him outside of the gym, kind of in a parking lot area. And I said, Brandon, get out of your chair and walk. And so we caught the whole thing on video. It's on our website, specialstrong.com, on the homepage. And it's not a beautiful walk, I'll be honest. It looks like he's drunk. He is all over the place. He's like, his gait is all messed up. And it literally looks like somebody was like, he's drunk. Like if he was doing the line test, he would fail. And but he walked, and he did it unassisted. He walked about 50 feet. Or so, actually 50 yards, 50 yards. And it changed his life. It was the biggest life-changing moment for me as a trainer, because I got to be a part of something God was doing, which was a modern day miracle. And I also got to help somebody else experience that God still does miracles today. So it was a really special moment, probably one of the greatest highlights of my career, being a part of Special Strong, for sure.
You were like, don't touch that wall. Get away from that wall.
Yeah, it was crazy because he kept jerking like this. It was crazy because the wall was like right here, and he would jerk like this close. And again, this is all on video. So like if this got messed up, like now I've got a video that like really makes it look like I don't know what I'm doing, right? So, but everything worked great, and he didn't hit the wall with his head, and it was great. So the Lord did his thing.
Yeah, I think, one of the things for our families that we serve in the special needs community is that they're hopeless, right?
Yeah.
And that's what deferred makes the heart sick. And there's so little, which is terrible, for individuals with disabilities post-secondary after high school. So how would somebody get their child assessed and even know if you could help them?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple different paths. So we do have local locations. So if you go to our website, specialstrong.com, you can just type in your zip code. And if there is a local location, the best thing to do is connect with a local trainer and just try our services out for free. And we have about an 80% success rate. So 20% might not be a good fit for our program. And typically those are people that have really severe behavior challenges. As a company, we don't do any kind of restraining, so we can't really get involved. If somebody was to physically attack an instructor, we can't do anything about that. So we just have to tell them, unfortunately, we can't help you. But for everybody else, the 80%, as long as they can follow instructions and they can listen to the coach and not attack anybody, they're going to be a good fit for our program. And so we do have an 80% success rate. So that's option one. Option two, if you're not near one of our 12 locations, we do have a great online virtual training version that's also on our website, specialstrong.com. So we actually have an app where you can do everything through the app. You can hire a coach through the app. There's a free version where there's literally a library of adaptive exercises. We even have live group classes. It's really incredible. And so even if you're not in one of those 5 locations or states where we have locations, you can just get the app and start living a more abundant life by using the app. So those are really the 2 greatest ways to get help. And again, for us, it's about abundant life. It's about independence. Most of the people we work with are looking for independence. They don't want to have to rely on people, or they want to be able to do that as least as possible. And so our goal is to get them as independent as possible for whatever that looks like for them. Maybe it's doing the dishes for the first time in their life. Maybe it's getting their first time job, working at Chick-fil-A. It's different for everybody, but we're going to create a customized path for them to experience abundant life.
Okay, that's awesome. So I heard you say, obviously, if they're dysregulated, do you do, while you're not a medical provider, do you do a medical intake? Is that part of your assessment?
Yeah, so we have what's called an adaptive PAR-Q. And so PAR-Q stands for Physical Activity Questionnaire Readiness. And so this is a standard assessment that's used in the personal training fitness industry, but we've created our own because the standard assessment doesn't check for a lot of things that we need to look for. So we created our own. So the standard PAR-Q is about 10 questions. Ours is about 20 or 25. And so we have very, very strict criteria that we look for. And based on how people answer these questions, we'll determine, do they need a doctor's release to work out first? Okay. And statistically, 5% or less of people need a doctor's release to work out. Most people are already eligible to work out. But for those 5%, maybe somebody is still having seizures, for example. They're probably going to need a doctor's release. So the last thing we would want to do in a workout program is for example, maybe we have them stand up and down really fast. What if that triggers a seizure, right? We might not know that unless a doctor tells us, because we don't do scans of the brain and we're not neurologists, okay? So we need somebody else to tell us that. So that's an example of why we do the PAR-Q.
Okay. And so is it just for students, obviously the space that I work with, kiddos to 22, or is it for anybody who has adaptive needs?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the youngest athlete we've ever served, I believe, was 6. And typically we start at 8, but we have served a 6-year-old child, and that was very successful. And then the oldest athlete we've ever serviced was 92. And we actually serviced him inside of his nursing home. We trained him for 3 times a week. He had dementia. And it's interesting because every time the trainer would come into the session, the trainer would have to remind this person with dementia their name and the exercises, because literally dementia, he literally forgot every time he came in. But These services helped him live an abundant life. And even though he couldn't remember a whole lot, he knew he didn't forget how it made him feel, which is so cool. He knew that it made him feel better. And so our oldest was 92. And so we really have that range of 6 to 92. And again, as long as they pass that medical questionnaire, we can service them. We've got a great model, and we've serviced over 10,000 athletes. We've not serviced, but impacted over 10,000 athletes personally through our services and through our certification program. Never had an injury that I know of that's been reported. So yeah, to answer your question, 6 to 92, 93 maybe, but 92 is that special number, So
that's amazing. So if I have an individual that has a disability, I would say is profoundly impacted by their disability, then do you require an adult to stay with them at the gym locations?
That is one of my favorite questions, Karen. I am super passionate about independence, and I'm super passionate about mom and dad, leave us alone and let us work out without, okay, we love you, mom. We love you, dad. Go do something else. Get a breather. You have enough stress in your life already. Go on the bike, go on the treadmill, go run an errand at Chick-fil-A. Now, listen, if you absolutely have to stay in the session, we'll let you stay in the session. And if you want to watch from a distance, we understand that. Get video, right? We want you to do all that. But we're here to promote independence. We're not here to promote helicopter mom and dad.
Right. I have one of my dear friends uses your services in League City, and she's like, my teenage son's like, get out of here, mom.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. And I love parents because their heart is to protect. And I'm a parent, so I understand that. But we do need to go from protect to empower. And we need to empower our children to think for themselves and make decisions for themselves, because mommy and daddy can't always be there.
Yeah, her son also has a VOCD, a voice output communication device, an augmentative alternative way to communicate. And literally the coach that they use here in South Houston uses the communication device almost better than most of his teachers at school, because this is so great. So even the way that your coaches, no pun intended, adapt to these individuals is just life-changing. So tell me the 5 states that you're in.
Yes, you can see I've got the map right back there. You can't see it. You can't see the little pins. My wife got me that map for my birthday. It's really cool. So we're in Florida, and Florida opens in January. California opens in January, and then as far as open states, we are open in Texas, we're open in Ohio, and we're open in Arizona.
Okay. And so obviously this is such an amazing need, which is why we're partnering together. How would somebody find out? And we're going to put a link in. We're going to post this. We'll put this on our YouTube channel as well. But let's say that there's, Bob is in Wyoming and he wants to partner with you and help train kiddos. What would that look like?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. So if Bob is in Wyoming, so we don't have a local location in Wyoming. So Bob, you might want to move to one of those 5 states. Otherwise, we do have some opportunities. If you actually wanted to work for the company, we're always looking for virtual coaches that can come on board and train people virtually. We have a client in China, as an example. So Bob could be in Wyoming and actually train clients in China virtually. That's the power of technology. And so that's really the greatest thing there. But the thing about Wyoming, we're not in Wyoming, so maybe Bob needs to open a franchise. Maybe Bob says, you know what, I don't want to just coach one-on-one. I actually want to start a business, and I want to be fruitful and multiply, as the Bible says, right? And I'm all about creating businesses, and I love creating opportunities for other people to live an abundant life. And so Bob, I'm speaking to you right now. You're in Wyoming, and you need to open a Special Strong franchise right now. And so the next step for you is go to the website, fill out a form to learn more. And our amazing team will get in touch with you. We'll qualify you to make sure it's a good fit. And then you can open your own Special Strong and start living an abundant life for you. And then also help coaches live an abundant life and athletes live an abundant life. And then also, Bob, maybe you're not ready to start a business. Maybe you don't have the capital that it takes. There's a lot of different reasons. Maybe you're just fearful. A lot of people are really fearful to start a business. And a lot of people actually never reach their dreams because of fear. And Bob, I hope that's not you, by the way. But if it is, I still love you, Bob. Okay, there's other options. And one of the other options is you can just get certified online to do your own adaptive fitness training. That's just certifystrong.com. So maybe you don't want your own business. Maybe you're just like, hey, I just want to learn how to do this on my own. Maybe I have a kid and I want to learn this so I can do it with my kid. You can just get certified. It's all online. Course takes 5 or 6 hours to finish. It's accredited. We've certified over 1,400 trainers. And that's also another really good option, especially if your name's Bob. It's a really good option.
And I have an advocate that I train that is certified by you. She is in Casper. So
yeah, great.
Bob, you could call Elle. You could start something amazing. So I think that there's, obviously you're wanting, your company's vision is certainly to have locations in all states, correct?
Yeah, in all states and really international. We'd like to go international over the next 1 to 2 years. We've had a pretty good amount of international interest. It's just as a company, it's a big step to go international. So it's just not the right time for us as a company to go international. But we've had interest in the UK, Canada, Australia. So
right, that's awesome. So if somebody is wanting to, let's talk about the app for a little bit, because we all have 800 apps. I put in a generator this week. I didn't put it in, and I had to register it on an app. I'm like, oh, I'm so apped out. But I'm excited about your app. So tell them what the app looks like. I love that you have a free version, and then talk about what it looks like if they want a higher level of support with a trainer.
Yeah, so the app is amazing. And to get the app, you can just go to adaptivefitness.com. And once you go to the website, there's 2 versions of the app. There's a free version. And our heart is generosity. So we actually give a lot of stuff away in the free version. You can access group classes for free. So if you want to actually do a live adaptive group class, you can do that through the free version. And then we've included a customized adaptive exercise database of videos in the free version. So if you wanted to work out at home on your own, you're going to learn adaptive exercises through the app. And then it's all free, adaptivefitness.com. And then the paid version is if you want more accountability and you really want someone to help create you a custom plan, that's where the paid version comes in. And it starts at $50 a month. And so we've tried to make it really, really affordable. And one of the reasons we've done that is because we understand that there's a lot of extra expenses for people that have adaptive needs. I think it's their annual expenses are 2 to 2.5 times higher than somebody who does not have some kind of challenge or special need or disability. 2.5 times. So we've tried to create a really low entry point model, $50 a month, where you can still talk to someone, a real coach who's an expert in your specific adaptive need. Maybe it's autism, Down syndrome. Maybe you're in a wheelchair. Maybe you're missing an arm. Maybe you're missing a leg. Maybe you had a stroke a year ago and now you can't use half of your body. It doesn't matter. We're equipped as trainers and coaches, and in the app, we are equipped to help you live a more abundant life. And so to start that journey, adaptivefitness.com, there's a free version, there's a paid version. Either way, both of those versions are going to help you live a more abundant life. But there is a guarantee that if you do nothing, nothing's going to change. So get the app.
Yeah, and I think that's cost is so, it's such a low barrier of entry. Everybody, my mother is 90.5. She lives with me, and she just ordered one of those little pedal things. And she pedals every day for a mile, and movement is everything. It affects your spirit, your body, your emotions, everything, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's actually a great book on it. It's called Spark. It's my favorite exercise book I've ever read. The whole book is about what exercise does for the brain. You know, because when we think about exercise, we think, oh, it's going to give me a 6-pack and it's going to give me big muscles. Karen, I know that's really important for you. Karen and I talk a lot about this, but seriously, like that's what people think when they think of exercise. It's typically associated with weight loss. It's like, if I'm going to exercise, it's to lose weight. And that is so surface level. That is so mediocre. It really fires me up, because that is not why you should exercise. If your goal for exercising is to lose weight, you're probably going to fail because you're basing your goal on something negative, okay? That's not how you set goals. A better goal would be, I want to live a more abundant life, so I'm going to exercise, and a byproduct of that is I might lose weight, okay? But going back to the brain, it's an unbelievable what exercise does for the brain. And with all the food and all the crap in our food, our brains are constantly in a state of inflammation, and our bodies really, from all the foods that are being pumped into the chicken, to the meats, and those all impact our brain. So if we can increase our brain power by exercising, why wouldn't we want to do that? It can make us smarter. We can generate and potentially make more money to help more people. And again, when you look at the special needs population, they typically have more brain abnormalities than the neurotypical population. So they need it more than just the neurotypical person who doesn't have those kind of challenges. They need it more than anybody. And there's tons of data. My biggest thing is the BDNF. I don't know. It's really hard to tell you what it stands for because it's hard to pronounce. But I'm going to give you a summary of my version of what BDNF stands for, which stands for Miracle Grow for the Brain. That's what it is. It's something that's actually produced in the brain when you exercise. And it's also produced when you do new things. So if you decide to go to a different store or just do something different out of your routine, BDNF is produced, but it actually promotes new brain cells in the brain. So we're actually losing brain cells every day. And for a lot of us, if you drink alcohol, there's just a lot of things that can just expedite that brain loss process. That's why we're seeing dementia, Alzheimer's. Those are all-time highs. They've never been higher. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but it's the bottom line is we're losing brain cells every day. Exercise can reverse and delay a lot of those conditions. You look at what it does for Parkinson's. You look at what it does for dementia. I mean, we were training a 93-year-old with dementia, and the things that it did for him were incredible, really incredible. And so one of the things that I'm passionate about is teaching people when it comes to exercise, don't get caught up on the body, okay? That's so surface level. Think about the brain, which is so much more important, because guess what controls the body, by the way? Your thinking, your brain. So why don't we start with where it all starts, which is up here. Instead of going in for again, I used to work at mainstream gyms. Karen, everybody saw me. They all had the fake stuff going on. That was just all they wanted. I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I had to get out of that industry. I had to. It was so fake. It was so stupid. And it's such a lie from the enemy to pursue those things. It's such a lie. So that's why I love running my own company now, is because we don't focus on that stuff. We focus on the abundant life stuff, which is not the fake stuff. It's the sustenance stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you said the BDNF when you do something new. So if I wore like a sleeveless shirt, it would produce that.
Well, so I don't know if it's quite that simple. It's going to need to be like an activity, but I do like your thinking. You know what, Karen, for you, actually, I think it actually would be different for you. If you did wear a sleeveless shirt that was pink specifically, I think it would just do this to the BDNF in your brain. But no, probably wouldn't do that for other people, but for you, it would.
I think it would definitely increase my reach. So, but this is so good. I'm going to put your link on this page. We're going to post it on the Academy. And then there's also, I just wanted to share with them there's so many people in our space that are looking to pivot their vocations or to keep their job and just over broke and to start a side hustle or to start something else. And so you have webinars about that. Is that right?
Yeah, we do have webinars. So we haven't planned our next webinar. We just finished one, but our next webinar should be probably towards the end of next month. And it's just a franchise discovery webinar. So it's 30 minutes. There's a Q&A, but it's just to learn about if you do want to own your own Special Strong, this is a great webinar to learn about. And if you want to learn about when that's going to take place, just go to specialstrongfranchise.com. You can sign up right there on the website, and then we'll keep you notified of any type of webinars that are coming up.
Okay, awesome. Is there a way to opt in? Do you have a newsletter? Do you have anything like that?
We don't have a newsletter, but we have a lot of announcements that we do typically twice a month. I wouldn't call it a newsletter, but we do announcements. So anytime we have a new location, we do an announcement. Anytime we have a new team hire, we do an announcement. We just did a couple of those recently for some big changes. At some point, we'll probably have a newsletter. I guess that's probably a good thing we should do, huh, Karen?
Speaking it into existence, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think we should. You know what? I think that's a really good idea. We will do a newsletter at some point. I think that's really good.
Awesome. We'll be back next week and talk to Daniel some more. We're going to put the link in below if you need anything from them, specialstrong.com, and just tell them the Special Education Boss sent you. it's important that we get moving. It's important that we now have this opportunity for our loved ones that we care about and serve and teach and train, to have this possibility. For those of you that are in special education, all my APE teachers, my adaptive physical education teachers, my OT, my all of those that are serving kiddos, this is really something you want to look into. I talked to a coach from a school district the other day that's looking into this. So Daniel, thank you for serving our individuals that we love so much, and we will see you guys in the next training.
You're awesome, Karen. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.